Blood ties are not always bonds of love. Sometimes they are chains that drag us deeper into darkness. Episode 9 of Blood of My Blood is not just another chapter. It is the turning point where trust shatters, secrets erupt, and the line between loyalty and betrayal fades into nothing. The episode opens in the shadow of everything that has already happened. Nothing feels safe anymore. Every glance hides suspicion, every silence feels louder than words. The family that once stood together now walks on a floor of glass, each step threatening to break into chaos. Old secrets that were once whispered are now screaming to be heard, and no one can run from the truth any longer. There is a growing tension in the air, heavy enough to suffocate. Every character is carrying their own burden, their own version of the truth, and their own fear of being exposed. Blood has already been spilled, and everyone knows it will not be the last. Episode 9 digs deeper into the cost of loyalty, asking who we can trust when family itself becomes a battlefield. As the story unfolds, cracks widen between those who once swore to protect one another. Words are no longer enough. Proof, actions, and choices are demanded. The silence of the house is no longer comforting. It is dangerous, hiding things too dark to face. And with every hour that passes, the unspoken question grows louder. What will be revealed next, and who will pay the price for it? This episode builds on a simple but terrifying truth. Love can keep you alive, but it can also kill you. The characters are no longer only fighting enemies outside the family, they are fighting enemies within. And sometimes, those enemies are the people they love most. Every whispered conversation carries weight. Every shadow hides more than it reveals. Every heartbeat feels like a countdown to something inevitable. The story does not ask for patience, it demands attention. The more you listen, the clearer it becomes that Episode 9 is not about solving mysteries, but about facing them. This is where alliances break. This is where truths bleed into lies. This is where the chains of blood tighten, not to hold people together, but to trap them. Episode 9 pulls us into the moment where no one is safe, and every character stands at the edge of their own downfall. What makes betrayal cut the deepest is not the act itself, but the hands that deliver it. Episode 9 brings this truth to life with every word and every look. The ones who should be protectors become predators, and the bonds that were once unshakable begin to crumble under the weight of hidden motives. The episode dives into the shadowy corners of trust, where nothing is certain and every promise has a price. Someone is no longer who they appear to be. Their mask is cracking, and beneath it lies something colder, sharper, and far more dangerous. This is not just about secrets being exposed. It is about how far someone will go to bury the past, even if it means burying those closest to them. The family begins to sense that betrayal is moving quietly among them. It is not loud. It does not shout. It creeps slowly, like smoke filling a room, impossible to escape. Every choice is now a gamble. Every alliance a fragile thread ready to snap. Suspicion spreads faster than truth, and with it comes a fear that no one dares to voice aloud. What if the traitor is not outside the door, but already sitting at the table? The beauty of Episode 9 lies in its silence. Moments of quiet carry more weight than screams. A single glance lingers too long. A hand trembles while holding a cup. A pause before answering a question feels like a confession without words. This is the language of betrayal. It does not announce itself, it drips slowly, pulling everyone deeper into doubt. As the story sharpens, it becomes clear that choices will no longer be guided by love or even reason. Fear is the new ruler. The characters act not because they want to, but because they must. To stand still is to risk exposure. To trust blindly is to risk destruction. In Episode 9, betrayal is no longer an accident. It is a strategy. And the one who betrays might just believe they are saving themselves, even as they destroy everyone else. The ground under the family is shifting. The shadows are no longer harmless. They are alive, moving, watching. And as the pieces fall into place, the audience begins to realize that this is not just betrayal. It is a carefully woven trap. A trap so intricate that once it snaps shut, no one will be able to escape. Every secret has a limit, a moment when it can no longer be hidden. Episode 9 pushes every character to that edge, forcing them to choose between silence and survival. The atmosphere thickens with tension, every heartbeat echoing like a warning. The walls that once protected them are now closing in, and the house feels less like a home and more like a prison. Trust collapses piece by piece. No word is believed, no promise is enough. A simple conversation turns into an interrogation. A look of concern is mistaken for a threat. Fear twists everything, reshaping even love into something sharp and dangerous. The family is unraveling, not because of an outside enemy, but because of the shadows within their own bloodline. This is the breaking point, where suspicion transforms into confrontation. Quiet anger turns into explosive accusations. The truths that have been clawing to escape finally tear free, and once they are spoken, they cannot be taken back. Words cut deeper than knives, and in episode 9, words become weapons. Every character faces the same impossible question: who is guilty and who is innocent? But in a house poisoned by lies, even innocence begins to look like guilt. No one can prove themselves, and no one can fully hide. The breaking point does not come with a single betrayal. It comes when everyone realizes that no matter what side they are on, someone they love will be destroyed. Tension erupts in moments that feel irreversible. The sound of a slammed door, the breaking of glass, a confession whispered too late. These small explosions build into a storm that cannot be stopped. And at its center is the truth that has been waiting all along. Once blood has been spilled, nothing can ever return to what it was. Episode 9 does not pause for breath. It drives forward with relentless force. The breaking point is not just an event. It is the moment the story changes forever. After this, nothing will be the same. The family may survive, but they will never be whole again. And as the screen fades from one confrontation to the next, the audience feels the unshakable certainty that the worst is yet to come. What has been building in silence now erupts in chaos. Episode 9 unleashes the storm that could no longer be held back, and once it begins, there is no turning it off. Every character is thrown into motion, forced into choices that can no longer be delayed. This is the moment when fear becomes action, and hesitation becomes deadly. The betrayals hinted at before are now revealed in sharp, brutal ways. Trust shatters like glass, and the fragments cut everyone who tries to hold on. The truth finally steps into the light, and it is far darker than anyone imagined. Secrets are not just exposed, they are weaponized. The lies that once held the family together are ripped apart, and with them goes the last trace of safety. The storm takes many forms: screams that echo through hallways, footsteps rushing in the dark, a confrontation that ends with silence too heavy to ignore. This is no longer about who is right or wrong. It is about survival. Each character fights not only for their life, but for the chance to control a truth that could destroy them. Every second drips with suspense. The air is thick, the pace quickens, and there is no room for calm. The storm brings out the truest faces of the characters. The masks are gone, the performances stripped away. What remains is raw, unfiltered, and dangerous. Love twists into obsession, loyalty fractures into rage, and even forgiveness turns into a weapon. The storm is not just outside, it is inside each of them. Their thoughts race, their hearts pound, and their actions spiral faster than reason can catch up. Some lash out, some break down, some reveal a side of themselves that no one has ever seen before. Episode 9 becomes a mirror, showing the audience not only what the characters are capable of, but also how far they are willing to fall when the storm takes everything from them. And yet, in the eye of the storm, one truth grows clearer. This chaos is no accident. The storm has been planned, guided, and provoked. Someone has been pulling the strings all along, waiting for this exact collapse. And as the storm rages on, one terrifying realization rises to the surface. The true enemy has finally revealed themselves, and they have been closer than anyone dared to imagine. The storm has passed, but what remains is even more dangerous than the chaos itself. Episode 9 ends not with relief, but with silence. The kind of silence that feels alive, heavy, and suffocating. Nothing is resolved. Nothing is healed. The damage has been done, and the pieces that are left cannot be put back together. The family stands in ruins, not because of an outside threat, but because of the war within their own blood. Every betrayal has left a scar. Every truth has burned away trust. And now, there is no clear line between enemy and ally. What was once a family now feels like strangers bound only by secrets too heavy to escape. But the most terrifying part is not what has been revealed, it is what has not. Episode 9 closes by showing us that the greatest secret, the one that changes everything, has still not been spoken. The enemy who has been moving in the shadows is not finished. They have only just begun. And with every step forward, their plan tightens its grip, ensuring that when the final moment comes, no one will see it coming. The cliffhanger is brutal. A choice is made, a truth is uncovered, or a betrayal is completed. But it is cut short, leaving the audience gasping, desperate to know what happens next. The screen fades, but the tension does not. It lingers, like a heartbeat too loud in the dark, refusing to let go. Episode 9 is the moment where everything breaks, but it is also the moment that sets the stage for what comes next. The silence at the end is not peace. It is the calm before an even greater storm. And as the credits roll, one question burns brighter than all the rest. If this is what blood can do, what happens when blood turns against blood completely? This is not just the end of an episode. This is the cliff of no return. Once the story steps over it, there is no going back. The family has crossed a line, and nothing, not love, not loyalty, not even blood, can save them from what is coming.